Hello, welcome again to Crochet Moments. I'm Helen, and this is where I like to sit and talk about all things yarn, all the things that I've been up to, and just generally having a bit of a chit chat. I live in Leicester. I don't know if I've told anybody this. I live in Leicester. I have a husband and two girls, 4 and 9. The 4-year-old is currently getting put to bed by Daddy. Oh, sorry, I've just had a look by my 10-year-old. It was her birthday on Sunday. Not like I could forget that. And so it's been a bit of a funny couple of weeks, really. I had a fantastic week last week. I had a good week at work. I work in a bank, and on Thursday, I completed a 30-mile charity cycle ride for the bank's charity, which is Centrepoint, a charity for homeless people. And just in my branch, we raised about £250, which was great. And in the whole bank, it's in the whole event managed to raise just under £50,000 for Centrepoint. So that was a fantastic thing to be a part of. And so then I had a nice quiet weekend. It was Catherine's birthday on Sunday, which is when I started to feel a little bit unwell with what became the worst cold of my life. I'm still a little bit raspy. I've got one of those deep sexy voices now. Just ignore that. And so if you think I sound a little bit gravelly, or if I end up sneezing or things, it's just the remnants of the worst cold of my life. But I'm all better now. It was not COVID. I had to go and get a test because there was a moment when we thought it was. But thankfully everything came back negative, and I managed to go back to work for a couple of days. So I did have a few days in bed, which meant a little bit of crochet and knitting time. Not wanting to do anything too complicated, she says, I did a bit of sock knitting, which you'll see later. So I haven't done huge amounts of some of my more complicated projects this week, although I did do some last week. So let's begin. I'm going to start with my finished objects. Now these are small finished objects from my latest Crochet Society box. And the first of which, if I can dig to the bottom of the box, is a pair of socks. I really enjoyed doing these. These are from the Crochet Society box 16. I don't know if any will come up for sale. Sometimes there are some left at the end when they've posted them all out, and they'll pop some on. They usually go within like half an hour of them being put on. So, but I'll still put the link down, because if you do like what you see in the boxes that I show, you can always go over and subscribe. They do have a Stay Home Stay Crafty box. Well, it's a bag. They do it in a tote bag, which, it's upstairs. It comes in a canvas tote bag. Anyway, crochet socks. These were really awesome to work on. Let's just try and get them to focus. I've really liked working on these, and they're really comfortable. So these were, I've actually got notes this time. These were designed by, it's another name that I'm probably going to say wrong, Pinar Celik, and on Instagram she is Sirin's Crochet. Now I'm sure that at some point she will release this pattern through whatever method she normally releases patterns. They are really good. The only thing that I can think of to say against them is the way the heel is done. There, it creates sort of like a line that you can feel on the back of your foot. It's got a bit of a weird feel, but I'm going to have to get some sock blockers. Now I'm knitting socks. But yeah, so I really enjoyed it. They were a very comforting thing to crochet when you're not feeling at your best. And if you do hear any creaking in the background, it's Catherine. Did you want to say hello today? No. So it's just Catherine shifting around on the chair if you hear her. So yeah, so those lovely socks. Now I've shown them, I can wear them. My feet, I don't normally feel the cold, but my feet do, and I'm always complaining I've got cold toes. So these are going on in as soon as I finish recording. And another finished object and an almost finished object, I did two. The amigurumi project, usually most of the crochet boxes have got an amigurumi pattern in. The last one didn't, it had some hanging butterflies instead, but this time it did, and I made two. I got a little bit bored when I got to the wings, so butterfly number 2 doesn't have wings yet. This is Buffy the butterfly. How cute is she? Her antennae are a bit wonky. This is actually one of my more successful amigurumi projects. I'm just trying to hold it so that you can see it's got these lovely wings. I'm okay at the actual crochet part of the amigurumi. I get that. I can follow the instructions really, really well, and I get fairly good tension. If you're wondering about the change in colour, she was supposed to be this colour and the yellow colour, but I ran out of this colour yarn, and this is the closest colour I had in my stash, but I don't think it looks too bad. I've just noticed that the decreases are really obvious here. I need to get into more practice of doing the invisible decrease. I have done them before, so I know what to do. It's just I get a bit lazy, and when it tells me to reduce, I just do it in the way I've always reduced rather than... I've also just noticed that I've put the antennae on slight wonky angles. They're not quite straight, but I'm quite proud of that output. It's one of my better amigurumi projects. Yeah, she's quite cute, and this one is going to live with Catherine, and when I can get round to doing the wings, it's got some fluff on her. This one is going to live with Emily, my 4-year-old. I think she looks really cute just like that. I think I might have done the mouth a little bit high. The pattern book, let's find the pattern, sort of has her face, her mouth on a level with the eyes, and I think I may be, bearing in mind I was probably under the influence of a fever when I sewed that face on. So yeah, I'm quite proud of that. Really, really proud. I just hope this means that my amigurumi projects are going to be hit with more successes than failures. So those are my finished objects. Not any big finishes this week, but hopefully I might get a bit more done over the next couple of weeks. I've got a week booked off work, so in amongst the half-term holiday with the children around, then I'll maybe get a few bits done here and there while they play. So let's move on to my works in progress. Now, this is my first work in progress. Still has yarn attached to it, so I need to be careful that I don't pull the stitch out because it doesn't have a stitch marker in it for some reason. And this is, just got a peek, the histoire naturelle Scheepjes Crochet Along. Starting to get big. Look, I've just started on part 3, which is at these edges here with the grey and the dark grey. So up to this, it was a octagon. But look, it's so great. So part 1 was this bit here with the green and the brown. So the brown represents the hedges, I think, the story. Every part is a little bit of the Natural History Museum in France. So let's get the instructions. I've been printing the instructions out. So part 1 represents the Jardin des Plantes, which is the botanical garden. So this bit here, so this square with the flowers and these hedges, it's the botanical garden. And then part 2, which is the section that I most recently finished, is the entomology department. And obviously entomology is bugs. So we have some bugs. These are some really great bees. How cute are those bees? And then, and these are really cute. I do really like these. I almost wish I'd done them in a different colour so they'd stand out a little bit better. But look, the butterfly, and I just love the way it was done. You sort of just the bits of the butterfly were crocheted over the rows. So you did end up with lots and lots of ends at the back to sew in, and I have been really good, and I'm trying to sew them in as I go along where I can't crochet over them, because as you can see some of the areas are quite loose, so I don't like crocheting over ends when I have those, so I do prefer sewing those in, but I'm going really well on this so far. I might do a little bit more tonight. Depends on how alert I feel, so I plan on having a little bit of a tipple. So that, oh, there's my hook hanging off my yarn. So yes, this is being made with the kit that I bought. I did an unboxing video, which you'll probably see further down my feed, of the kit. So it's all, I bought the Colour Crafter kit because I unfortunately am not made of money, and I would have loved the River Washed set because the colours of the River Washed are beautiful, but the kit's about 3 times the cost of the Colour Crafter kit, and maybe next year, maybe, because I've done the last 2, oh, I forget now. I've definitely done the last year's CAL, which was the Rosetta, which is here, which I really love. It was, well, that's the bottom bit of which was all the overlay crochet. This is a great blanket for snuggling on the sofa in, and there's the top bit. Which is tapestry crochet, which I wasn't terribly confident in until I did this. Tapestry crochet in the round, when you're not terribly confident, certainly builds your confidence. So yes, so that's the crochet, the Scheepes crochet along, and then, where is it? Oh, there it is. I've managed to do a little bit of work on my Hummingbird cardigan. which is here. So I have fully completed all of the rows for the bit that goes all the way round, and I've started to divide up for, oh, I forgot to mention, the Crochet Along the Scheepjes is a free pattern on the Scheepjes website, and it is designed by Christina Hadderingh, and she is a spoonful of yarn. So head over, she does a great blog post with each pattern repeat that explains some of the more complicated areas. There's also a video tutorial for each of the parts, which is done by All in a Nutshell, and Esther, the lady that does that, she's got one of those voices that you could just listen to all day long. I've used a few of her tutorials for a few things, and yeah, I definitely recommend, even just to listen to her voice, just to have her on in the background and listening to her talking about, you know, you need to double crochet for the next 10 stitches and things like that. It's just zen. It's my zen. So yes, anyway, back to Hummingbird. So this is the bit that I've done. So I've started to go up the right front. So this is the bit that's going to go over this side. And this is designed by, maybe if I prop them up in front of me, I won't have to keep turning away from you. So this is designed by Blazenka Simic-Boro, and I sound really confident saying that. I'm still not confident saying it. And she is Blanche Crochet Design on Etsy. So this is a paid for pattern. I got the pattern in my Crochet Now magazine, one of the past issues that I've subscribed, and I'm just really enjoying doing this. Now it's on the shorter rows. I mean, this is only about an hour's work. I've probably only spent about an hour on this since you last saw it. It's really nice, and this yarn is so nice. I'm buying this yarn again for definite, and this is Vintage Look Stylecraft DK. Take the wool band off for you, and this is a 75% premium acrylic with a 25% wool content. So as you would expect with something with wool content, it's got a little bit of a scratch to it, but it's a pleasant one. It's not one of those ones. I've had some yarns with a wool content to them and they've been really scratchy, uncomfortably so, but this is quite soft. So I'm looking forward to getting this done. I think I might not get it finished, but I'm certainly going to get as close to being finished as I can with this one, because I can't wait to wear it. The weather's starting to change. We're getting more cooler days than milder days, and it'd just be so nice to pop this on and go for a little walk. So look at those, because I'm also the bottom, I used the Starcraft Life in Heather. So this is in the shade of Indigo, and this is Heather. I believe it's Heather. I have lost my ball band for it. Oh, excuse me, sniffling away. Let's pop that there out of the way. Excuse me, leaning forward. Let's move that pattern out of the way now as well. So next we are on to the shawl that I am making for my manager for Christmas. I'm making all of the ladies at work a shawl. I made one of my colleagues, she's just had a birthday, and I gave her the scarf that I did, the houndstooth scarf, and she loved it. She loved it so much that she bought me a present for making her a present. She bought me this really nice lush bath bomb and a shower scrub. So yeah, excuse me, I just need to have a little sip. This isn't the tipple, this is just some fruit juice until the tipple, which will come later. I don't think I dare try and podcast under influence of tipples. Okay, I have enough trouble getting my words out sometimes. So this is the Infinite Love Shawl, and it was designed by Magdalene Lee. And I'm just trying to untangle it because it's all tangled up in the yarn at the bottom. So here it is. I'm in love with the colours of this. It's just, and the way the pattern works out as well. It's mosaic crochet, and I've been working on the Celestia crochet along, which is the Crochet Now magazine crochet along, and the current blanket is lots of hexagons with various mosaic crochet, and I've been lusting after this scarf, so I might have to make myself one once I have done about a million other whips that I need to get done. So yeah, I really do like this, and I am using the very delightful So Crafty yarn from Aldi. This is colour K1003 grey. There you go, grey. So this is the perfect shade of grey. I love this. I think I've got another 4 or 5 balls of this stuff. So you'll see some more of this somewhere along the lines. And the cream is the James Seabrett Top Value, which was initially bought to do a Mandala Madness blanket, which I think I've got about 3/4 done until I forgot what row I'm on. So it's one of those ones that I really want to make, but there are so many others, as particularly Helen Shrimpton patterns that she's released since Mandala Madness, that I really want to do. So we shall have to wait and see if I get round to doing it. Certainly once I have done with my Scheepes blanket, the intention is to start the octagonal blanket that is the current Starcraft crochet along, which has been designed by Helen Shrimpton of Crystals and Crochet. Her blankets are just amazing. I will buy a few of the patterns at some point as well, because I always want to have a blanket on the go, and why not one of hers? They are beautiful. If you're not familiar with her work, certainly go and have a look, because it really is very, I'm in love every time I go on her website and have a look at all the patterns. So those are my crochet whips. I've been doing a little bit of knitting, which will take me on to my incoming in a moment. So first of all, let's show you how far I'm on the little baby jumper that I'm making. So some of you who saw last time, I'm a little bit tangled up in needles there, might remember that I have a friend who is expecting a baby in the new year, and she's having a little boy, so I'm making him a jumper, and I've got the main bits done. So I've just got the sleeves and the neckband to do. So this is the back, and I really love the yarn. The yarn is James Seabrett, again, more James C. Brett, Fairground DK, and it works up in these lovely stripes. Really, really lovely. Now, I did think that I should try and pattern match the stripes, but then I've only got one ball of this, and technically I'm not supposed to be buying more yarn. I have broken that rule already a few times this month, so I really shouldn't. I might have to. We'll see how I go. I've got this much, which should be plenty, I think, to do some sleeves. So there's the front, which is on the stitch holder. So that's that. Okay. Pop that back in there. I'm actually keeping this in a bag that I got with the Crochet Society box. I'm wanting to say box 10, but I don't think it was box 10. I can't remember the box number. I will have a look on their website, refresh my memory, pop it around somewhere on the screen. So that jumper is actually a vintage pattern, and it's a Serdar pattern. And it's got this lovely jumper, cardigan, and these lovely little rompers. I'm tempted to make the rompers, but I don't think it's the sort of thing that people put their babies in these days. And I don't really want to make something that's not going to get used. I don't know what year this was published in, but the needle sizes are listed in the old frame, the 8s and 10s. So let's try not to show the pattern, if that can focus. I can't see if it's focusing, but yeah, so 8s and 10s. So yeah, I really enjoy that. I think it's probably 80s time. This is one of my mum's patterns. When she passed away a few years ago now, I got to pick through all of her knitting patterns before things got sent to charity shops. And almost all of the baby patterns came home with me, because there's always someone having a baby, isn't there? And the vintage stuff is so pretty. So what else am I knitting? Well, I am knitting a shawl, if I can untangle it from some of my things. Some of you might remember that I showed off that I had this lovely sock yarn advent calendar from last year that I bought at the Nottingham Yarn Show from the Cuddlebum stand. And they are some fantastic hand dyes. They do some of the most wonderful colours. Let's show you this lovely grey, because I'm in a grey colour kind of. So these are all 5 gram minis. So the reason I decided to use these for knitting is just because 5 grams won't get you very far with crochet. So I thought let's use these for something knitting. And because the colours are so vibrant and so well, they're interspersed throughout, so there's nothing obviously stripy, it's not speckles, but I didn't want to lose the pops of colour. So I went and had a little search on Ravelry, and I found a shawl pattern, and it's simply called the Simple Shawl, and it was designed by Jane at Hedgerow Yarns. And I'm not very far in, as you can see, but just look at those colours. I can't get it to stay very still, but just look at those colours. They're beautiful, aren't they? And I'm knitting this on a circular needle, again, it's just something I've picked up from watching Ali of Little Drops of Wonderful, whose podcast I have watched a lot of over the last week in my sick bed. I've been I've been watching through all of her older videos, and in particular her vlogs. I'd love to have a go at doing vlogs. I'm only just getting the hang of doing the podcasts, so we shall have to wait and see if I get round to doing vlogs. But yes, I'm going to just randomly pick a colour, and when I get to the end of the box, if I think it needs a bit more, I may have signed up for a mystery mini club, which I don't think I'll have it in time for the next time I talk to you, but it certainly might be the time after that, and so that might find it, they might find its way in there. But I also have a couple of other projects that I plan on doing in the meantime with those minis. But by all means, one of the things I was going to ask later on, but I'll ask it now, if you can think of any good projects for minis, scrappy projects that look really nice, that aren't granny squares and granny shawls. I have a love-hate relationship with the granny square stitch. I love how it looks. I just find it so boring to do. I've tried, and once it gets to about this big, that's when I start to get a bit bored and fed up. So yes, I am noticing that my picture as I film is getting a little bit jumpy, so I do apologise if that's happening again. I don't know what's happening. It's something to do with my phone, I think. I'll have to get to the bottom of it before the next time I film. Other incoming... No, that's not... That was whips. Yes, that's all of my whips. Wow! Not all of them. Obviously, the Spring in Time crochet jumper that I'm doing for Catherine is not quite done yet. You probably got the sound of me turning my page there. Sorry. Not that I really need to see what my incoming is. I know what my incoming is, but I always forget to show you. So, let's move some of these things out. I've got so many ends coming out of this box. Crochet Society box. Oh, I'm pulling the wrong way. You know when you pull an end thinking you're pulling the short end and you're going to get this bit? I was pulling the wrong way and I was coming off the ball. So there's a ball of yarn I'm going to have to re-ravel. Crochet Society box 16. Oh, this is just a tissue paper. Ignore the tissue paper. How gorgeous is that box? And it's one of the double depth boxes. And I don't have much of the yarn to show you. I have about this much of the yellow. And this, I did remember to keep the ball bands though. That's one of them. The other one's disappeared. So this is a 60% cotton and 40% premium acrylic. Again, it is a Bella Coco branded yarn, so I couldn't tell you much about the maker of the yarn. But I can tell you it was lovely to work with. It was really, really good to work with. Other yarns that I've had that have got cotton mixed with acrylic have been a bit splitty. This has held its own really well. Really, really loved working with this stuff, which is a little bit annoying when you don't know the maker, because I'd love to buy more of this stuff. So, but I've already said about that in a previous episode. It is one of my bugbears with Crochet Society, because it almost feels like they don't want you to buy more of this lovely yarn. Yeah. So we had some beautiful extras. And the most beautiful, but there's so many beautiful things in here. But there was the stitch marker to die for. And here it is. How cute is that hedgehog? He's so cute. When I can stop him from... There we go. So basically, they were inspired. One of the people in the Facebook group has a little tiny hedgehog, and she almost always puts little pictures of him exploring her box. So they were inspired, and her hedgehog has got its own little stitch marker. And to go with that is this absolutely gorgeous pin. Now I have decided that I need to get myself a project bag that doesn't have too much in the way of just design on it, so that I can put all of my crochet pins and Crochet Society pins on that bag. Because I'm not a big pin wearer, but I love the pins. This is my favourite, and I strongly suspect that if I didn't keep an eye on it, it could go missing somewhere. So that's the pin. I was looking for this the other day and I couldn't find it. We also got a little yarn cutter, which I haven't actually used yet. I was looking for it the other day to use it when I needed to. I'd gone crocheting upstairs and I'd forgotten my scissors. But it's really, really cute. It's kind of like it almost feels like an eraser, you know, the kinds that you use to rub your drawings out, your pencil drawings. And in this little slot here, there's just the tiniest little blade. So I'm not quite sure at how cutting yarn it is, as I haven't tried it yet. Quite good actually. That went through quite easily without any effort at all, so pretty good. That might find its way into one of my little bags with projects in that maybe don't have room for a pair of scissors. That might live in there with that. Or if I get myself a little sock pouch, it could live in there, which we'll get to in a moment. That's the whip I haven't shown you, but I'll show you that when I get to things I've been buying. Right, where is the hook? The hook! The hook! The hook's not in the box. And it was a beautiful hook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift this side a little bit, and I'm going to put a picture of it here, because it's too pretty a hook not to show off. It's this beautiful, beautiful orange with leaves all the way over it. So I'll have to have a dig around upstairs for that later, because you need to see the hook. Okay, so what else? Oh, pin cushion. Pin cushion, which... Ooh, crikey, one of those has gone through a little bit enthusiastically. It's a little hedgehog, and their pins are his spikes. That's just so adorable. Hello! So he's so cute. And we also got a really, really pretty box. I will probably end up using it for snacks. It's the perfect size to pop a few raisins and bits and bobs as little snacks for those inevitable moments when my children on a trip says, "Mummy, I'm hungry, what can I eat?" That's a refrain heard very, very often in this house. Those of you with children will probably understand. And then we get the usual little card that just does the hook conversions and a few crochet terms. And the message is, happiness is a ball of yarn. Never a truer word said. So that's my Crochet Society box. So like I said earlier, I will put a link to the website for Crochet Society below. And I've been subscribing since the very first box. And I found that my skills in crochet are definitely improving. So definitely, if you have the funds, it's not a cheap box. I don't think it's very expensive either if you look at all the things that you get in. But there are the odd month where you do think, is this really worth the... Well, I pay about £17 for mine because I pay on a 3-monthly subscription. On the monthly subscription is £20 a month, although that does include postage and packaging, so that's probably £15 for the box, £5 for postage and packaging. But yeah, definitely. Right. No, that's not this month's Crochet Book magazine. This one is. Crochet Now came yesterday. And for me, there's only one pattern other than the crochet along pattern that I want to make. And it's this lovely little scarf here. So, yes, I'm sure that once my girls get hold of it, there'll be a couple of things that they will want. They've got... There was a toy in here. Where's it gone? Where is it? There's a little toy Santa in here somewhere. I'm sure that I will get asked to make Santa. But there are some nice patterns in there. They're just not really for me this month. Yeah, so this is out on sale now. It was its release date was yesterday, the 15th of October. And yeah, I still find there's good value. There's a couple of discount codes in there for some of the larger websites that I purchase from, like Darren Moore's. I may be needing to make a purchase soon. And Darren Moore's do a mystery yarn box as well. And I'm wondering if that discount will apply to that, because I think it'd be great to get one of those for my podcast. Now, my last lot of new stuff, and my whip, which is hiding in my yarn bowl. This is a yarn bowl that my husband bought me for Christmas. It got a little bit broke, and I think it took about a week for one of the girls to knock it off the side and break it. So this is my first foray, my little adventure into sock knitting, and I'm actually quite enjoying it. Whoops, let's not... How cool is this sock? It's actually looking like a sock. I have wanted to make socks for forever, since I discovered knitting magazines, because every knitting magazine I picked up seemed to have a sock pattern, and every time they would be really, really pretty, and I'm like, yes, I want to do that. And they've always talked about DPNs, double pointed needles, for those of you not in the knitting know. And the idea of knitting with 4 needles, sometimes I struggled with 2. So the idea of knitting with 4 needles, I was like, no, that's not happening. And since watching Little Drops of Wonderful, some of the socks that she makes are absolutely stunning. If you are looking for a podcast, I couldn't recommend her more. She's absolutely amazing. So I will link her below, and highly recommend that you go over and have a look and maybe watch. I know that she's got an episode due fairly soon. She keeps talking about in her October vlogs, trying to find time to record it. So, but yes, this one is being knitted on a short circular needle, which is one of my new purchases. This is the Addy Sock Wonder. Let's get the package out. It is the Addy Sock Wonder. It's a short circular. I can't remember what length it is actually. 25 centimetres. Don't ask me what that is in inches. I've only just got the hang of them. So yes, that's yeah. I haven't decided yet if this is my way to go for knitting socks, because I bought both a short circular, which I've seen people use, and some DPNs, which are also Addies. So there they are. So it's about £5. It was about £5 for this needle and about £5 for this set. So the plan is, I know I'll probably end up with two completely different socks, but the plan is for my first pair, I'm going to knit one on my short circular and one on my DPNs. I'm following a tutorial by the Crazy Sock Lady. I don't know why, but I keep almost calling her the Crazy Cat Lady, so I'm really sorry. I can't remember the lady's name, but I will put it up around somewhere, and I'll link to the tutorials below. She's got several tutorials for knitting vanilla socks, which is what these are. They're just vanilla, and they're vanilla because they're plain, there's no pattern to them. Which she does one for the short circulars, she does one for the DPNs, she also does one for Magic Loop. I have tried Magic Loop in the past and failed miserably at it, so I don't think I want to go that route. So I'm going to do this one and this one, and then when I've worked out which is the way I want to go, I am going to buy another one of whichever my preferred method is. Or, if I'm feeling rich or can find a good discount, I might buy another one of each. That way I can have two pairs of socks on the go at the same time. Because I'm worried about second sock syndrome. I'm really enjoying doing first sock. Second sock syndrome. Is there going to be a second one? Is the question. So, yes, we shall, I hope so, because I'm entering these into Ali's Strictly Sock Along. She is a big fan of Strictly Come Dancing, and every year for the last few years she's held a sock along where you knit socks and you post them in the thread and hopefully win a prize. So I've got my fingers crossed. I've got my crochet socks are in there, and we shall see if there's a pair of knitted socks. But obviously to knit socks you need sock yarn. So I bought some Drops Fable print. I can't remember the name of this colour. It's colourway 340, but it does have a name on the Wool Warehouse website, so I will insert that somewhere on the screen. So these are 50-gram balls. I bought two, so 100 grams, because I wasn't quite sure how much I needed for making socks. If I have any left, I might hope I could carry on adding them into scrappy projects like knitted shawls and things. This is this colour, and I've bought some of this colourway as well. So I bought two balls of this colourway because Ali knitted a pair in this yarn, and I really liked the way that they came out, so I went and bought some of that. And then because I don't really know much about sock yarn other than there are quite a few hand dyers, lots. My Instagram feed is full of hand dyed yarn that I'm just drooling over. But as far as shop yarn, big makes and things. I wasn't quite sure what to buy, so I just, on Wool Warehouse, they have, if you're familiar, you probably are, a lot of people use it. They've got a menu at the side and you can select the type of yarns that you're looking for, and it will just, the algorithm will just throw up all the ones that you want. So I just ticked sock, and Head Over Heels All Stars came out by Starcraft. I did not know that Starcraft have done sock yarn. There's some really nice West Yorkshire spinners stuff, but that's for someone who hasn't made socks before. They were a little bit pricey. This stuff was fairly cheap. I think I only paid about £4 for this. So yeah, we'll see. But this is well, all of the yarns are 75% superwash wool and 25% nylon, and there's about 400 meters in a ball of this, and this has about 205 meters in a ball. So we shall see over the next coming weeks and months my little experiment into sock knitting. I hope I get it, because I have found so many beautiful sock patterns, some of them paid, and I'm happy to pay for them. They are absolutely stunning patterns, and some of them are free patterns. So we shall see. Watch this space, especially seeing as my making time is going to become even more short as we get to Christmas. My last incoming, I feel like I've been talking forever. I'm really sorry if I'm boring you. I visited the Works, which, if you're not living in the UK, the Works is like a discount bookshop, and they have lots of books and stationery, and they do have a lovely craft section, which I often go to get things for my girls to make and do, because they like a bit of make and do. They almost always have knitting patterns and crochet pattern books. One knitting pattern book they had is on my Christmas list, so I'm really hoping, if my husband is watching, Simon, remember you need to go to Palmer's Garden Centre to buy me the Harry Potter knitting book. He does watch my videos. He's really helpful. I did have a blog. I ran out. I just don't have time to keep updating a blog these days. This is about as timely as I get. And so he pops a few show notes and things that he watches. So he will know. Simon, that's my husband. Please, Harry Potter knitting book. Because it is quite cheap there. Anyway, on to the things I bought. I bought 2 books. One is a knitted book, because just why wouldn't you want to knit animal hats? And it was only £3. And there are 20 patterns in here. So £3 for 20 patterns. And I have already been told that I am making, when I find it, where is it? Come on. There it is. My youngest, Emily, wants the panda. So I need to do a bit of stash diving for that one. I know I have black. I probably have white, but I don't know whether or not to do it in a cream instead. Let me know what you think. White or cream. So and pom-pom ears. I get to use my new pom-pom makers. Well, they're not new. I've had them for a while, but I have used them a couple of times. And I didn't used to do good pom-poms, and now I can make half-decent pom-poms. And then I came up with this. And I really enjoy doing shawls and wraps and things. I don't know if it's because they are quite big without using too much yarn. Sometimes they're quite mindful projects. You can sit and crochet on them for hours and there's not much stress because it's just, a lot of it is repetitive. This is one of my favourites that I absolutely, as you can see from all the tabs, there are a few things in here that I want to make, but this is definitely quite high on the list of things that I'd like to make. Definitely. It's an Aran weight shawl, so I'm just wondering whether or not I could substitute other yarns. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But that's definitely one that I want to make. There are quite a few in here. But they do have a website, so you can head over to, I think it's theworks.co.uk, and they might even have them in stock. But don't go all rushing out buying the Harry Potter book until my husband has bought my book, please. I need that book. The pattern's in there. There's this most amazing circular knitted blanket. It was Order of the Phoenix, I think it was. And I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan, but the patterns are just so amazing. I need those patterns. I need to do some of those projects. There's a couple of really nice tops. And there's some Luna Lovegood gloves, which are to die for, which I will have to show you when I do my incoming after Christmas. Hint, hint, hubby. So, yeah. So that is the end of my incoming. And that is the end of everything I have to talk to you about today. And I can't believe that I've been talking for nearly an hour. I think my daughter is probably feeling a little bit bored now, even though I did say to her, why don't you go and read your book in your room? But she decided to sit and watch again for the third week in a row, and for the third week in a row I will probably get told, but mummy, talking about crochet is boring. Yes, Catherine, it might be. Oh, I'm getting the look. I think I'm going to get told off for saying that. So I forgot to say right at the start, thank you to my regular watchers. There's been a couple of watchers who have been really helpful with some of their comments, so thank you for that. And welcome to any new subscribers. If you like this video, I'd love to see some thumbs up. If you would like to see more of me, please hit the subscribe button. I hope to continue bringing content for as long as you would like to keep seeing me. So I will bid you all good night. I'm about to go and pour myself a nice lovely gin and tonic. I think I've deserved it after the week I've had. And I will see you again in a couple of weeks. Bye bye.